Suni Samada, directors here on the platform of our Infinite Company. Let me ask everybody real quickly, is everybody having a great day so far? Show of hands, put a one in the chat if you're having an amazing day, right? So let me just give disclaimer to this call as well. This is a mastermind call, okay? Meaning that this call, you guys, is not premised in life insurance alone. All right. We believe that a success principle anywhere is a success principle everywhere. How many guys would agree with that? Right. Yes. Okay. Good stuff. Right. And so, because of that, we also understand, okay, without a shadow of a doubt, that 80% of this business in entrepreneurship, success in entrepreneurship is going to be mindset. Okay. So this is a mindset call. All right. So I don't want you guys to come on this call and be disappointed if we're not talking life insurance, finance, policies, things of that nature. Okay. This is a mindset call based on general success principles. All right. So I know we got a few new folks that are chiming in. So I want to make sure that you guys understand the nature of this call. Okay. Are we all in agreement? Two or more in agreement? We good? We good to go? Okay. Good stuff. So this morning, I had a great conversation yesterday with some young and up and coming leaders, and we were talking about the power of belief. They asked me a question in regards to, I said, Mrs. Samad, you know, you do your Infinite Eight. How is it that you're closing more and some people are closing less? Right? When you do things like your appointments, what is it that you're bringing to the table that's allowing you to close more while other people are closing less, right? And I really love the question, but I'm going to give you guys that answer and I'm going to elaborate on that for a second. And the answer, you guys, and I hope some of you guys have got pen and pad. Those of you who can write things down this morning, please do. But the number one answer is belief. It's belief. Um, when I'm talking to a client, when I'm talking to a prospect, one of the biggest and most significant things that I bring to the table is my belief. People do not buy the information, they buy your belief in the information. I'm going to say that one more time. People don't buy the information, they buy your belief in the information. They buy into your conviction about the information, right? And so, one of the reasons that we have this call, why this call is situated on our platform, is because this is a call that helps you cultivate your belief. Does it make sense so far? Right? Because where else are we learning to cultivate belief? Belief, you guys, is a skill set in entrepreneurship. Why? Because in entrepreneurship, there are no guarantees. There are no guarantees. And so the question we have to always ask ourselves is, what is the biggest difference between somebody with the same license that I have, the same platform that I have, right? That may be making ideal income versus the income that I'm making. And it is a transition of belief. When you're new, I can look in your eyes and see the starry eyed, I don't know what's happening here. Look, 6 weeks, 6 months, that look starts to change. And the reason that that look starts to change is because of belief. I promise you guys that if it were something else, we'd all be making seven figures a year. If it was just about financial information, we'd all be making seven figures a year. So belief, you guys, is the lifeblood of all activity. So why is it that somebody goes out and makes it happen? Get it? You watch this, makes it happen versus somebody who kind of sits on the sidelines. Belief. The only reason that somebody has a fuller calendar than someone who doesn't have a fuller calendar, belief. So the question is, how do I cultivate more belief? And we're going to talk about that. Okay. I'm going to give you guys where I source my belief from. And one of the reasons that I feel like a lot of people on this platform are having success and just success in general. So write this down. Your 5 to 9 determines the value of your 9 to 5. Your 5 to 9 determines the value of your 9 to 5. I promise you guys, if you want to separate yourself from average to elite, okay, you have to have a 5 to 9 program that develops wins for you early so that by the time you get to your job or your first appointment or both, you've already knocked out so many wins before the sun came up, Betty, that by the time the sun comes up, you've already locked in Wintersville. This makes sense to you guys so far, right? Absolutely. Your 5 to 9 determines the value of your 9 to 5. If you don't hijack your mind before the world hijacks your mind, you will be at a loss. If you're waking up at 8:30 and your first appointment is 9:30, you are at a disadvantage. This is entrepreneurship. This is not a W-2. As I mentioned, there's no guarantees. So, how do I put myself in a winning position, appointment for appointment? I add value to what I'm bringing and who I'm bringing to the market from 5 to 9. So maybe that looks like, prayer. Maybe that looks like yoga. Maybe that looks like meditation. Maybe that looks like a journal. Maybe that looks like affirmations. Maybe it looks like a walk. Maybe it looks like reading 10 pages of a good book. Maybe it's all of the above. And however you package that routine in the morning, I promise you, when you solidify it, David, and you start to like really like make it a part of your day, when you don't do it, you are going to feel so empty. You're going to be like, listen, I am failing. Because guess what happens? Nick, what happens is how you conquer the day in the morning begins to be your true metric for how your day is going to go. See, I know personally that if I don't wake up at 5 a.m., I'm already losing. True story. I'm already kicking myself in the proverbial ass. Excuse my language. I do cuss sometimes. I'm kicking myself in the butt because I'm already like, damn, I'm failing me. So if I'm failing me, how can I win in business? I already broke one of my promises to me. Remember, we talked about success being a culmination of promises kept and failing being a culmination of promises broken. Would you guys agree with that? Right? You see a guy, young lady, making it happen in life, right? It's a culmination of promises kept. Jim Rohn says the recipe for disaster: I can do, I should do, but I don't do. Recipe for disaster. Okay. So your 5 to 9 determines the value of your 9 to 5. I encourage all of you guys to figure out a morning routine that supersedes what the world demands of you. You should find something that you demand of yourself and let it be your practice ground. Okay? Because here's the cool thing about that. Again, you provide a measuring stick now for yourself that when the world is giving you their measuring stick, it doesn't phase you. Doesn't phase you. You already hold yourself to a standard that the world is not holding you to. So therefore, your standard always supersedes what the world is demanding of you. And if you fall short of your own standards, it's nothing that anybody in the world can say or do that harms you or hurts you or phases you. So again, if I don't wake up at 5 a.m. and I'm up at 6, I'm already behind. It doesn't have anything to do with a client, doesn't have anything to do with a policy or anything. Now, here's the cool part. If I check all the boxes from 5 to 9, okay, by the time my first appointment comes, I've already clocked in 3, 4, 5, 6 wins. I'm unstoppable by my first appointment. By the time I hop on this call, I got so many ideas. I got so much content to give you guys. I got so many like angles that I want to share this and share that because my 5 to 9 is determining the value of my 9 to 5. And if you waking up like at 10 or 9 or whatever, and you just letting life hit you in the face, man, good luck with that. Okay. And the reason that is so key is because we are entrepreneurs and there are no guarantees. So, what is the name of the game? The name of the game is putting the odds in my favor. Now, is it safe to say that if I'm knocking down my 5 to 9 routine, am I not building more belief in myself? Right? Absolutely. Right? I'm up at 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning. I'm out on a run. I know that most people aren't doing what I'm doing. So I have the privilege and the luxury to talk to myself in a way to say, you know what, Suni, you're doing the things that most people aren't doing, Nick, so you deserve the things that most people don't have. And I believe in myself because I'm doing the work. See, one of the things that, and it ain't work in the field, it ain't work in a policy, it ain't work in an illustration, it ain't work in a presentation. It's the work on you. Like I mentioned yesterday, this business doesn't demand more activity, this business demands more identity. It's demanding that you become something or someone you've never been so that you can have something you never had. And the song and dance that people are having is I don't want to become anybody other than who I am. I want it based on who I am now. And that's not the nature of the deal. You have to submit to the nature of the deal. The nature of the deal says, hey, it's here for you if you want it. But who are you willing to become to get it? They lied to you when they said it's a what are you willing to do thing because it's a lot of people that do a lot of things and they're not getting the results of the people who are becoming more. See, there's a lot of people doing more, but it's not enough people becoming more. And because there's not enough people becoming more, there's not a lot of people having success. In the words of Jim Rohn says, well, the guy says, well, I'm kind of good with who I am. He says, well, we don't expect much from you. I'm comfortable with who I am. Well, hey, we don't expect much from you. Okay. So, 5 things that I want you guys to say to yourself in the morning. Okay. These are some of the things that I say to myself in the morning. So, 5 a.m. hits, I text a few people that I know is up who's on a 5 a.m. Code with me. We've committed to be 5 a.m.ers. We're 5 a.m. clubbers. Problem is with Hans though, it doesn't really work because he's an hour ahead of me and he get up at 4. So I'm just like, bro, call me when call me when you can, right? When you get free, because he outside at like my 5 a.m. Hans already outside. So, but at the same time, though, we know that we can catch each other that time of morning, right? And so soon as your feet touches the ground. But why is it so important? What is the science behind this 5 a.m. thing? You hear about it a lot. If you haven't heard about it, it's very true. Okay. So I won't go into this piece, but I want you guys who are writing to write this down. Alpha, beta, delta, theta. Alpha, beta, delta, theta. Right? These are brain frequencies that you operate on. And there's a such thing as the alpha state, which is called the creative state, and then theta, okay, which is even a more creative state. And what happens at 5 a.m. is that your brain is operating in the alpha and theta states, which means that you have more access to your subconscious mind than any other time of the day. So I'm going to have you guys look that up on your own. All right. Take a deep dive, though. Please take a deep dive and then thank me later. All right. But here's the thing, why is it also a victory? Well, one of the biggest feats in our day is to get out of complete comfort where I'm vertical, where I'm horizontal, all right, and then get vertical. To go from horizontal to vertical is one of the biggest victories in everybody's day. And the quicker you do that and you make that a habit, then you carry that habit into other parts of your day, because success is going from decision to action quicker. You ever seen somebody stand on the side of a pool for like 30 minutes because they were scared to jump in? And it took them 30 minutes to make that decision. Yet it was a other bunch of other people that like soon as they seen the pool, they just jumped in. Right? Well, that is indicative of how they do everything in life. So I want you guys to apply that to yourselves. Think about where I'm over analyzing the decision making process, and then understand that that's called a pathology, a habit of my thinking. And it's playing out in other spaces and places. And I have to re engineer my thinking to go from decision to activity quicker. I just seen JD hop on military. I mean, if you look at a lot of what happens in the military in regards to their training, that's what it's all about. It's teaching you how to become somebody that goes from decision to activity in a matter of seconds. Quicker, sooner. So now, if I'm somebody that goes from decision to activity quicker, do I not get a lot more things done in my day than somebody who ponders a decision for 2 hours, 3 hours, maybe 2 days, 3 days? Right? So we just came out of this 4th of July weekend, and I would love it if you guys could show y'all cameras. That would be awesome. If you can't, if you're driving, I get it. But hey, how you do anything is how you do everything. right? Still behooves me. A lot of times we say we want so much out of this business, but the first starts with the mundane stuff. Like opening up your camera and just being ready to participate in your business. So number one, I want you guys to write this down. 5 things to say to yourself every morning. I choose my response. Number one, I choose my response. Okay. Between what happens to me and how I respond, I choose. Life always presents uncertainty. Listen, clients are going to say no, people are going to disappoint you, markets are going to fluctuate, plans are going to change. But your greatest power is never found in controlling the circumstances, you guys. It's found in controlling your response. I choose my response. I do not have to allow the world, the government, politics to choose for me. How many of you guys get caught up sometimes in the news and what's happening out here, in the political climate? Anybody in our group like that, right? Right? Some people I talk to people all the time. They caught up in the political climate and what's happening, and I'm like, I don't want to hear that. You know why though? Because I know it's not a determining factor for my life. It's a contributing factor, but it's not a determining factor. Because at the end of the day, I choose my destiny. Hello. I don't care who the president is. I don't. Because I know that when I woke up this morning, between me and my mind, I have the ability to determine and dictate my own value. Period. That's not circumstantial. That's divine law. And it don't matter what country you in. They got successful people in every country that's operating on the same success principles, that's dictating and determining their own destiny. The words of Jim Rohn, he says it best. He says, listen, for the past 6,000 years of known history, success has looked the same. Okay? Opportunity wrapped in difficulty. Period. I don't care if he was born in 1960. I don't care if he was born in 1970. I don't care if he was born in 1980. I don't care if he was born in 1990. I don't care if he was born in the early 2000s. Success has always looked the same. Opportunity wrapped in difficulty. Period. End of story. You get to choose. You get to choose. Now, here's what's crazy or scary about the pathology of allowing external circumstances to be the determining factor. You're giving up your power. You're giving away your power. Because in reality, you get to choose. All right. So every morning, remind yourself, I'm not a victim of my circumstances. Okay. Nobody's a victim. I refuse to react emotionally. I will respond intentionally, and my peace is my responsibility. Okay. Leaders don't waste energy trying to control the world around them, they master the world within them. Leaders don't waste time. Listen, this is huge. Huge. Leaders don't waste energy trying to control the life around them. They master the world within them. I remember one time, this is a true story. I was telling Brad Pham one day that I could help with some stuff at the corporate office. And he was like, I don't need your help. He was like, you could redirect that energy though in helping yourself. And I was like, right. So says the man worth $30 million with a company. And I'm just barely a business director. What am I doing? Let me focus on me today. Let me figure out how to go 3, 3, and 8. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to fix OIC. And he like, I'm looking at your numbers. Like, what's up? What are we talking about? Right? So leaders don't waste energy trying to control life or the world around them. They master the world within them. All right. So that's number one. When you wake up in the morning, when your feet touch the floor and you go from horizontal to vertical, that's your first win. But your next win is what you say to yourself. Okay. So I choose my response. The second thing you're going to say to yourself is, hey, growth lives within me, right? Discomfort is not my enemy, it's my classroom. Discomfort is not my enemy, it's my classroom. Most people interpret resistance as a sign to retreat, but leaders, successful people in business, champions recognize resistance as evidence for growth. I know we got a lot of people who are very scriptural driven, religiously driven, faith driven. I don't care what book you read, Bible, Quran, Torah. Okay? I've read them all. In scripture, God always talks about how the adversity precedes the blessing. Yes? Absolutely. Right? My mentor JT used to say, Suni, you have not cornered the market on hard times. We don't want to hear your pity party, sir. But if we're really operating from this standpoint of faith, then we understand that the trial is indicative to the blessing. But how you endure is going to determine the outcome. Are you going to throw in the towel? Are you going to say this is too difficult? Or are you going to accept it for what it truly is, which is the prerequisite to every single thing you pray for? I believe that wholeheartedly, hook, line, and sing. So when life starts lifing and trials start trying me, I get excited. I'm like, oh my God, this is about to be good, princess. This is about to be good. Like it's just coming out of everywhere. I'm like, people around me are losing their minds. This is an obvious trial, right, from God. And listen, I can't wait to see what's on the other side of this. This is about to be amazing. This is about to be incredible. I can't wait to see what God is up to. That's my mentality. You will never hear me call anybody with a complaint. You can't champion life and be a complainer. You just can't. Complaining is a spiritual disease, by the way. It's a spiritual malady. You know how you know it's a spiritual malady? Because you've got so many things to be grateful for. It's got to be the devil that's got you complaining, right? So growth lives here. Discomfort is not my enemy, it's my classroom. Most people interpret resistance as a sign of retreat, right? But it's truly the evidence of your growth. The difficult conversation, the recruiting call, the fear before the presentation, the uncertainty before a major decision, these are not warning signs, they are invitations. But it's just how we look at them, right? So growth never happens inside of comfort. Growth never happens inside of comfort. Somebody asked Muhammad Ali one day, he said, "How many sit ups do you do, champ?" He said, "I don't know. I only count the ones that hurt." Them the only ones that count. Them the only ones that matter. The ones that was easy to do don't matter. The ones that matter is the ones I did not want to do. The presentation that matters is the presentation you did not want to do. The recruiting call that matters is the recruiting call you did not want to do. The scary one, the one that challenged you, the one that made you want to say, you know what, let me find somebody else to get on the line with me because I'm not sure if I can get this done. We go through that as business directors, right? We go through that. Sometimes we be like, man, I want to see if I can get Mary Grace on this call, or I'm gonna see if I can get Brad Pham on this call. And life is like, no, no, no. You qualify. You're enough, right? But this is a growth spurt for you. All right. I'm telling you guys, this call ain't for everybody, by the way. Just FYI. This ain't for everybody. And I love it. You know why? Because success is a minority class. Success is for the minority. Trust me. If you here, you are not like everybody else. So hang on in there. All right. So comfort, nothing happens good in nothing happens. Uh Growth never happens in comfort. Every challenge asks one question, you guys. Who are you becoming? Instead of why is this happening to me? So instead of saying, why is this happening to me? Convert it. Say, who is this allowing me to become? Yeah, right? Ain't that a better question to ask? Based on the premise, I say this all the time, and I'm going to say it here. You cannot get empowering answers by asking disempowering questions. The questions you ask yourselves matter. Why is this happening to me? No. Who is this allowing me to become? Stay in the seat of empowerment. All right. So, number 3, this is huge. Today matters the most. Oh my God. If we could just stay in today, if we could just mentally stay in today, stay present. See, some of us aren't really incapable of making this business happen at an elite capacity as much as we're just overwhelmed by distractions. Had a great conversation with Christine this morning, and we were talking about the rule of addition versus the rule of subtraction in business. Do you guys know that people function better with less versus functioning better with more? There's more functionality with less. So there's high function with less, low function with more. You ever had like a lot of clutter in your kitchen? Anybody? Right? You just meal on meal just start stacking up on you, got all kind of leftovers and Tupperware in there, and this is the meal from Tuesday and that was the lunch from Thursday, and right? But as soon as you declutter, your function increases. Less is most times more. A lot of times leaders get confused on this platform to keep adding. I want to add this, I want to add that, I want to add this, I want to add that. Billionaires take away. They say, what don't we need? What's not working here? And let's minimize, let's remove some things. Let's not always add. Like, for example, mentally, if we focus on today, my mentor Hans JT used to say, Suni, you got one foot in yesterday, you got one foot in tomorrow, and you're pissing all over today, young man. Mentally, I was distracted, right? Mentally, I was in the past and I was mentally too far in the present, and I was never truly present. And I squandered day after day after day after day because I was never there. How many of you guys feel like that? Keep it real, keep it a buck 50. Absolutely. Come on, Shelly, right? Right? Sometimes we just get so mentally just into tomorrow and the next day and the next day, and then we got some stuff burdening us from the past, and before you know it, we on autopilot. We are never here. We are never present. So when you wake up on your 5 a.m., we're talking about your 5 to 9 being the true value of your 9 to 5, or your 5 to 9, right? Determining the value of your 9 to 5. At 5 a.m., I want you to tell yourself, today matters most. If I could just do today good, okay, it makes tomorrow better. I can just do today. If I can just be 100% today, I don't got to worry about tomorrow till tomorrow. Let me just do today. The only day I can lead is today. Most people live in two places, yesterday or tomorrow. Yesterday brings regret, tomorrow brings anxiety. Neither produces results. Okay? Don't worry about tomorrow. Today has enough concern of its own. So every morning you guys decide, I will not relive yesterday. I will not borrow tomorrow's worries. I will fully invest in today, because today is the only day that matters. Right? Number 4, I want you guys to tell yourself, I am enough. That prefix, I am, is super powerful, by the way. That's another deep dive that I want you guys to take in another space. I am. The power of I am. Because who is I in the I am equation? I won't go there, but I'm planting a little seed. Somebody says, well, I'm Hans. No, that's your name. But who is the I that owns the name? Tammy said, go there. Let's go. Who is the I that owns the name? I'm going to let that sit there. Okay. So my value is established before my performance begins, when I know that I'm enough. I'm going to take that back. Write that down. My value is established before my performance begins, when I know I am enough. See, the beauty in that is I'm not concerned about getting my sense of value from any source outside of me, when I already know that I'm enough. So I don't play in the dangerous waters of allowing you to dictate my value. It's dangerous. Wouldn't you guys agree that that's dangerous? Right? If everything I feel about my own personal value is predicated on how you feel about me, how you respond to me, right? That's a dangerous place to be. So you have to declare it every single day. This is rewiring your mental software, because some of us are hardwired in certain ways. So we have to go in and do the rewiring, and it takes practice. One of the best times to do this is in your early mornings, before the sun come up. One of the most important conversations you can have. Okay? My value is established before my performance begins. So the world teaches us that our worth is determined by our achievement, titles, income, recognition, followers, results. But true leadership begins. True leadership begins when your identity no longer depends on external validation. I can't lead a team of 3,000 until I've led me. into my enoughness, if I can make that word up. Right? I got to lead me into my own feelings of enough. I can't let that be, I can't leave that to you. I can't leave that to anybody else. I can't afford it, figuratively or literally. I can't afford it. You don't need another promotion to become valuable. You don't need another recruit to become significant. You don't need another policy to become worthy. You already possess intrinsic value. All of that stuff that I just mentioned is a byproduct of your value that you proclaim, not the other way around. You want to write more policies, you have to become somebody worthy of writing that kind of business first. This is where we go back to the beginning of the call when I said belief is the skill set. Belief is the difference maker. Belief in who? Belief in what? Belief in me. If I can imagine it, if I can think it, if I can visualize it, I'm worth it. God wouldn't have put it on my brain if I wasn't worthy of it. Period. No questions asked. If I saw myself sipping cafes in the south of France on cobblestone concrete with, romantic jazz playing in the background in all white with me and my family, and I ain't worried about no money, and I could feel the ocean breeze on my face, I'm worthy of that. Shelly, I done thought about it so many times. The pigeons is right there. You know what I'm saying? I done seen it all. I got the paper. My legs is crossed. The whole nine. I got on the checkered white socks. My pants is up a little bit because, listen, y'all don't want to go there with me. I seen it. I seen it already. I can't unsee it. And it already happened. If it happened here, I can prove it. Do you know when you manifest something in the material world, this is where it comes to die? But when it's in your brain, it has eternal life because it lives and exists in the abstract world. So when you manifest it here, it's in its cheapest form. Man, listen. All right. So achievement should flow from identity, not create it. Achievement should flow from self-worth, not create it. The greatest leaders perform from confidence, not for confidence. The greatest leaders perform from confidence, not for confidence. Last one, you guys, I release control. Number 5. Okay, so number 1 was, let's run it back. I'm going to open this up. Number 1, I choose my response. Number 2, growth lives in me. Number 3, today matters most. Number 4, I am enough. Number 5, I release control. Right? You got to stop worrying about things we don't have no control over. And some of us have pathologies that protect us from personal accountability. And that's why we get so caught up in the mud of what everybody else got going on and what everybody else doing. Because if I can get caught up in what you got going on and what you got going on and what you got going on, I never have to worry about what I got going on. And I don't have to hold myself accountable. Yes. Yes. Do you guys know that your brain is wired to take the path of least resistance? For survival purposes. It's a mercy from God. You are set up and hardwired for survival, not to do difficult, dangerous things that represent a threat. So you have to push yourself and cultivate yourself in that direction. Your default setting is sit on the couch. Your default setting is safety. Your default setting is comfort. But what makes you a winner, what makes you a champion, what makes you different is saying, hey, I'm not settling for this. So I'm going to push myself to do something different. And it starts with the level of personal responsibility. I release control. I focus on what I can influence and surrender what I control. Okay. So much of our anxiety comes from fighting battles we were never designed to win, like other people's opinions, the economy, politics, the weather, the past, the future, and how other people feel about us. Hey, did you know that the weather is symbolic to the weather in your mind, and you can dictate your own climate based on how you choose to feel about yourself? You ever seen somebody walk in a room and it just like, man, they got aura, they got posture. Yes, because they're carrying their own climate. They're carrying their own sunshine. It could be raining outside, don't matter to them. You have the ability to do the same thing, but you can't worry about things you cannot control because they're all distractions. And sometimes we conveniently use them because we don't want to pay attention to us. We don't want to take no personal responsibility. Who wants to do that? Who wants to be accountable 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? That's hard work. In the words of one of my mentors, he says, man, thinking is the hardest thing most people never do. People don't want to think. And it's not our fault. Nick, they put me in public school. Kindergarten, they had me lining up for lunch, answering the bell. Kindergarten, hijacked my mind at 4. Horrible. Shelly, don't laugh. Right? But it's funny. If you think about it, if you think about how you've been cultivated to operate and function. We talk about it in the wealth formula all the time. Being broke is not a financial status, it's a psychological disposition. You've been disconnected from your ability to think for yourself. So, this is why we have to be intentional about thinking about what we think about so we can think again. But most people would rather pass it to somebody else. I was just talking to our back office staff. It was like, man, it's so many people want us to do everything. I'm like, yeah, welcome to America. That's what we do. We pass the buck. We don't want to do nothing. We work harder on not working than we do actually working. We work harder on not working hard than we do on actually working. We work harder on figuring out a way not to figure it out than we do actually figuring it out. That's what we do, right? So every morning, just remind yourself, I release fear, I release comparison, I release resentment, I release outcomes. I will give my full effort, then trust God with the results, period. All right. So I'm going to open this up to you guys. I did not mean to take that long, but if you felt like you got some value, put a one in the chat for me. I felt like I needed to get us out of the mud of the holiday. I felt like we were just kind of coexisting in this space where we just needed to wake up a little bit. Okay. And so listen, to the benefit of all and the harm of none. Okay. So the call is open.
Thank you. Thank you, Suni. This is Princess.
Hey.
Um, yes. Oh my goodness. So let me see this. So last week I had probably one of the most challenging weeks in a very long time.
Hmm.
And in that, my car, which is a Tesla, the battery, which I knew
Mm,
when I bought it, is 10, 15,000, whatever. So it's sitting. But I had somewhere to be and I didn't
mm,
have a ride. I had to walk. And I'm gonna tell you how conditioned we become. Y'all don't laugh at
mhm.
me. I literally forgot that there were buses. Okay.
Right,
I'm
right.
walking and I'm saying, I was like, in my mind, oh, it's only going to take me this long because I drive.
Yes.
So I didn't even know that it would actually take longer, but it was getting harder just in the
Mm,
beginning. And I had to say two scriptures: greater is he that's in me than he that's in the world. And then I had to say, I can do all things through Jesus Christ who strengthens me. And I got
mm,
stronger. And I
come
ended
on.
up, I found a bus stop. That's when I realized, like, oh, wait, there's buses. I mean, I ain't trying to be funny. I was like, oh, wait, let me sit down. And I couldn't even Uber. Matter of fact, I was like, okay, I'm gonna just get the Uber. And then by the time the Uber came or was coming, the bus came. And so I
Mm,
got on the bus.
let's go.
But when you said release control, right? God was speaking to me in
Mm,
volumes. Why? Because of distractions and things that have been going on around me. So,
mm,
the bus was pretty empty, clean, and what have you. And so, of course, me being me, before I got off the bus, I was like, hey, do
prophet
you
to
have your
somebody.
retirement set up to the bus driver? Right. But here's the point: I need you guys to pay attention. She's like, no. I was like, oh, you got kids? She's like, yeah. I said, oh, well, I can help you with your retirement. And you got, how many kids you got? She said, two. I said, girl, you got $2 million babies. So I was like one, two people on the bus. I said, give me your number. And she goes, okay. So she stopped. She's, took the time. I got my phone and I'm like, and then she goes, I said, oh, wait, I got your number. I had met her at the beauty supply. At the beauty supply. Okay. Now y'all unpack this however you want. But the fact that God had, and I had
Mm,
never called her. So the fact
that's right.
that I had to get on the bus, walk a few miles for him to say, Princess, I
Wow.
sat you down for a reason.
Yes.
Okay. That was like the biggest wake up call. And it was the me and the resistance, and oh my gosh, I'm not about to do this. But just it was a humbling experience. But look at the end of the day. And I made it a whole field trip because I went home the long way and sat at the bus, got ministered to, by someone who maybe was homeless, didn't want to touch
Yeah.
the bus rails because they were dirty. But it was a whole moment. We sit in a meeting. Honestly, we're sitting in a meeting, and I got some guy trying to talk to me. Like, oh, I'm just like, if they only knew. So I want to share that because you definitely you touched in some areas. So I had to learn how to release control.
Love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Wow. I commend you for sharing that one and two hopping on that bus. You know, that PT. Man, that says a lot about you, Princess, for real. Because a lot of people wouldn't have did it. You know, a lot of people pride would have gotten away. They would have had a breakdown, mentally, right, emotionally, spiritually. But you kept it going. That's awesome stuff. That's awesome stuff.
Good
Anybody else?
morning. Good
Good morning, Miss
morning.
Fola. Good morning, Miss Fola.
Yes, so I just want to add real quick that recently I've been talking to some of my old prospect, or what do we call them, clients, in
Mm-hmm.
businesses especially. Like this morning I've talked to two of them who has not been returning my call. They stopped picking up calls. And 2 minutes ago, I was talking to one and she said, hey, Miss Fola, I'm too busy. I have a lot going on. I said, hey, I'm not calling you about insurance, okay? I'm just checking on you. Just
Yes, ma'am.
and then she started talking on and on and on, and I'm becoming their business consultant. I'm becoming their personal consultant. I was talking
Mm,
to them about health, about going for exercises, eating right, and everybody they wants to listen to me. And she said, anytime things are better, I'm gonna call you back. I said, no problem. Okay. Another
mm.
one was talking to me about her business, and that was how we were able to put her on schedule for setting up employee benefit for our staff members, because
Let's
people
go.
think they are going through a lot of problems, but while you're trying to solve their problems for them, then they can always route it around the businesses of insurances, how we can leverage insurance to resolve their problems. Okay?
That's right. That's right. Thank you, Miss Fola. Good to
You're
hear
welcome.
from you on this call this morning. Way to step up and speak. I'm proud of you,
Yeah.
Miss Fola. Next time, though, I want to see your camera, though. Uh anybody else
Hey,
Don't
before we
worry.
Sonny.
I'm working on it.
Yeah, I just wanted to share this real quick, and then I have to hop
Come
off
on,
for a
Shelly.
meeting with
Come on,
Princess. We
Shelly.
got a
It's so good to have you on the
three
call this
three-way
morning.
call.
I'm in rare air this morning.
Yes,
You on the call.
yeah, I'm grateful to be here. I'm being on summer school, off school, actually off schedule for the summer. It
Okay.
helps me be on at these times of the day, so I'm grateful, and I'm trying to
Yes, ma'am.
maximize it. And
Come on.
nevertheless, when you touched on I am enough, and that our value is established before, pretty much
Mhm.
before we were even created here on earth.
Oh,
We just have to find that and live in that and own that and be that. And you touched on a lot about um leading with who you are. And this business is not about activity, it's more about your identity. And that was a big thing for me personally. So I bring to the table what I've overcome in my personal life, because what we do in our personal life affects what we do in our business and our professional lives. So I had struggled with that piece for years, the identity piece, and looking for people to value me, for me to have
mm.
value for myself. So I don't know if you can see, but I'm wearing a shirt right now. It's called Trauma Reboot. And
Let's go.
because I had endured a lot of different traumas from childhood. And so coming from the healing part, breaking free, and I'm still healing, but breaking free of the mindset that I needed people to validate me before I even validated
Mm.
myself. And so I'm walking around looking for people to, you know,
Yes, ma'am.
lift me up before I lift myself up. That's a heck of a, that's a prison. That's
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
that's you when you live like that, you have been robbed, and you need to
Come on.
reclaim your worth and
Yes,
walk in your identity. And so in order to do what I'm doing now, I had to get past that piece in my life years ago, from breaking free from that mindset, because it was cultivated in me to not
mm.
have a voice, to not know
Yes,
yourself, to not be confident, to not,
ma'am.
walk in that. So I love that you always hit on the inside out.
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
huge for me. And
Yes, ma'am.
I took a lot of gold nuggets from you. So I just wanted to share that piece. I couldn't do what I'm doing now professionally in
Right.
my business if I didn't break free from the mindset that had me in captivity for years. So
Right.
thank you.
Right. Well, listen, let's go, Shelly. You said a mouthful, and listen, that's why we train this call. It's a mastermind. It's the winner's circle. Because we definitely understand for us to get where we want to go, we've got to train the mind. And the mindset, and what she talked about is first overcoming her own personal obstacles, but that's why she's here. So the note that I took, and I want to share it with you guys, is the reason you disqualified yourself is the same reason you were chosen to be here. Wow. The reason you disqualified yourself is the exact reason you were chosen to be here. Take that on for size. Man, it's some people out there that got your name on them, like for you to help and serve for whatever reason, because we all got different paths, but we all ended up right here. So if you gotta go, you can go. Who Audra, I see you had your hand up. Betty, you can go next.
I think Betty is first.
Okay, go ahead, Miss Betty. I'm sorry, I wasn't sure.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, you good. You good.
um.
You got. I just really didn't know whose hand went up first, so I apologize.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Like it. Oh, Mr. Sunny, it's just so amazing, right? The I choose my response just from that one right there. That nugget is so good. I mean, because it's better to respond to react than to and even walking this walk that I'm walking, I'm learning that, and I refuse to react out of my emotions because me as a woman, that we are emotional creatures. That's how we were created. And so it's kind of when we react out of pain. It's from a pain point. But you know, to learn how to respond. And me and Mr. Sunni, we had a meeting with a client yesterday morning. I actually was in the car doing the meeting. I pulled over to a Starbucks because it's just a lot of transition in my life right now. And I don't know, Mr. Studio, I don't know if you want me to go into detail on whatever it was. It was a
And
rollover.
yeah, it was a win. Share it.
It was a
People need
win.
to
It
hear it.
was
Yes, ma'am.
it was a rollover. It was a win. She in the beginning of the conversation, she started off with she wanted to roll over $200,000 of hers, and so, but this was something that we've been like, working on and establishing the trust and the relationship with for about maybe about 3 or 4 weeks. It's been maybe like a month. This was like the third appointment with the client. And so at the end of, because Mr. Sunni, he explained how we are commissioned, like we're not getting any of her money, it's how we are paid. And, because people have
She
to
wanted.
trust you. She did. She wanted to know. And so, but you know what, Mr. Sunni? I mean, at the end of it, she said that, she increased it to 300,000. She was ready to do it like right then. Like right then. Mr. Sunni sent pre-filled the form, sent it to her. She was ready to print it out, sign it right then, send the wet signature back. And even to the fact of Mr. Sunni, she called me at 10:30 last night
Mm.
and said, "You know what, Miss Betty, you were just on my heart. You were just on my mind. I just wanted to call and make sure you were okay." See, it's like it's really God, and it's really amazing. So it really goes into like a relationship. It's definitely like not transactional. It's not. It really isn't. But going to sleep at night, know that she's not going to lose any more of her money in the market because it was in a variable market. And just knowing that she put so much trust in me and Mr. Sunni to be able to hold all of that. I'm just grateful. But Mr. Sunni, that's my win. That's my share. And this whole training this morning, it is all about who you are becoming. And as you're becoming who you need to be, it hurts and it's hard and
Mm.
it's very
Mm.
uncomfortable.
Say it. Say
It
it.
it will bring you to the point to where you might think about quitting.
Say
But
it.
the thing is, don't quit because you're gonna get there. God's bringing you there, and it's the journey. It's a part of the journey of you becoming you. Even that's just my take. And thank you for letting me share. But yeah.
Yes, ma'am. I'm gonna call you so you can get the rest of that off after this call because I know it's plenty. It's plenty more where that come from, right? But I'm so proud of you, Miss Betty. And we say when you say things, you take the power out of it. And saying that is hard, saying that it's difficult, right? You take the power out of it when you admit it and you vocalize it, right? So kudos to you. Kudos to you. Miss Audra.
Yeah, sorry guys, I'm not on camera. I'm driving across this bridge in the East Bay
Yes,
over
ma'am.
here.
Yes, ma'am. Welcome.
What resonated with me when you mentioned you offered to help at the corporate office, and he said, "No, I don't need your help." Um, wow, I realized that I've spent so much time helping everyone else build their
Mhm.
dreams that sometimes I postpone continuing mine. And so service is one of my strengths, but service without boundaries eventually becomes self-neglect, right?
Yes.
And that's how I'm feeling now. I'm exhausted, overwhelmed, and
Mm,
constantly putting myself last. But what I'm realizing is I can't show up as my best for anyone if I'm not
mm,
helping myself, right? And
that's good.
most people operate from the equation of my value equals how much I do for other people, when the healthier equation is my value isn't determined by how much I sacrifice. So I'm starting to preach that to myself because I need to pour more into myself as well in order to show up as the leader that I know I am, because I have so many things going on. You know, that jack of all trades, master of
Mm,
none, but I've told myself, you've mastered all of them. So that is not a true statement for you. But
that's right,
I'm exhausted. I just came to that realization last night.
man.
So thank you for the conversation. And I am a leader and I am worthy of it. So I have to rest my spirit,
Come on,
bring
Miss
back
Audra.
some of that calm to myself, right? So that I can show up for you guys because you guys deserve the best version of me.
That's
So
right.
that's all I want to say.
Well, thank you
Thank you.
for sharing that, man. You brought so much to my attention, just up for me, but it's so true. You know, service without boundaries is self-neglect, right? That was very well said. And sometimes, Audra, too, like I said, this thing called our brains, it's cunning, right? It's smart and it's wired on our survival. And sometimes we can start servicing everybody else just so we don't have to worry about what's going on with ourselves. I can hide in the team. You know what I'm saying? And I could get so nestled into what's happening with everybody else that I just don't never have to really look at my stuff, right? And so we have to be careful, because she said it. She says, boundaries, just have some boundaries. It's great to serve, but not in the exchange of neglecting myself, right? Because that's not fair to me, right? And I know that spoke to a lot of people. The last thing I'll say is, it reminded me of something Jim Rohn said again. A lot of Jim Rohn stuff I'm quoting this morning, right? But Jim Rohn said, you know, um, healthy relationships are not built on um, I'll love you um, and you love me as much as I'll love me for you and you love you for me. I always thought that that was pretty amazing. I'll love me for you and then you love you for me, right? Man, I think that that's powerful. So, Mr. Augustine, brother, let's go.
I won't be long, brother. The only thing that really I'm gonna mention to the team that I walked away with today was and you actually served as confirmation when you said something, and I said it earlier this morning in our other space.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you have to learn how to quiet all the noise. I don't have ability to quit. It's never been in part of my DNA, but I have also realized that certain noise can create a lot of traffic for me.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to learn how to become settled sometimes. I think one of the things that I shared with our team earlier this morning on our earlier call was that in leadership, there are spaces where there's a tremendous amount of noise, And the only way that you can move forward is to make the room as quiet as possible in your mind, because you already have the ability to get to the destination. You just got to get past the traffic. And so a lot of things that you said this morning were very confirming for me. It also allowed me to make the noise significantly less, because there's some destinations that you already have earned the right to be. You just got to make sure you keep yourself out of the traffic. And very much even what like Audra said, sometimes you have to learn how to respect yourself at the highest level possible, which is it's okay to put fair and reasonable boundaries, so that you know that there are places that you have the right to pull over, and not for stopping the process, but to be quiet enough to press the day forward in the version of your what you're trying to accomplish. So, but thank you. I thought that was a great
Yes.
confirmation and great notes. I actually took a tremendous amount of notes from my note taker here, so I will be reviewing that this evening
Absolutely,
with the
brother.
intent to kind of get a better understanding for what God is trying to apply for me, basically.
Come on, brother. Well, I appreciate you sharing that. And it's funny you mentioned noise, because in my morning routine, that's what it was all about. You know, I shot Kyrie a text. He shot me a text. He said, let's get it, 5 a.m. And for me, it was just about getting into the quiet. That's what it was for me. It was about just quieting my mind, and allowing my mind the opportunity to discard what was unnecessary, right? And value what was necessary. And in that space, it just gives me room sometimes to just breathe, and it's all happening up here. You know what I'm saying? It's all happening up here. And so just being able to be still in the quiet and get into a meditative, reflecting kind of a space is so key for me, right? So you talked about the traffic. The traffic is happening up here. The noise is happening up here, and it's true. I even found myself having to pull myself back to the present. Like I would just go, and I'm just like, wait, let me get back to being here. Let me get back to being present. So, listen, great call. I appreciate everybody who participated. Any burning desires? I mean, we already 15 minutes after. It ain't gonna hurt if somebody else has something to say before we wrap this up. But again, you guys, I just wanted to. I felt like the temperature, if I can say that, of the team coming out of the holiday, right? Sometimes we can get in vacation mode, celebratory mode, whatever it is, and coming back into full fledged, I'm a business owner, and holding myself accountable. It could be a hard transition back for some people. And so I wanted to really just have a solid mindset call, you know what I mean? And get everybody back focused. So I really hope that this was valuable for you guys. Um, it is Tuesday, so we do have the wealth formula tonight. So if you guys know people who are interested in taking a look at solutions or who need some financial education, this is a great call to drive people to, so that we can give them the education that they need and then move them into a conversation for some solutions. Other than that, you guys have a blessed day. I'll talk to you guys soon.